That's where people get lost. They think that we're dealing with power and greed. That's your most common effect that people say is causing the world strife. But once you start to get deep into these secret societies, and what we're looking at is synarchy here, a global elite of fraternal secret societies ruling the world, then you start to understand that this takes on more religious overtones, spiritual overtones, and that we're dealing with ceremonial magic. We're dealing with levels of understanding that most people aren't even thinking about. You know, they think about gold, politics.
Yeah, I'm thinking about money when, as I said in my talk years ago, I said, you know, it's one thing to have all the money on the earth, and people think, well, they're just greedy people. No, they're not. They're well beyond that. They want power. They want control. They want to be the gods of this world. They're literally trying to create mankind as a, if you want to call it a sub-race in a galactic and cosmic empire that not only spans across our space-time, but also across dimensional vortices.
It's true, and many people wonder, you know, why is gold so critical to this movement? Why has it been something that we have been mining on planet Earth since the gods told us to? The questions of gold are really astounding when you start to come to their technological understanding.
Most people don't realize that seawater, most of the gold on Earth is actually in the oceans of Earth. You can actually, if you could mine the gold from the seawater, pump it out and collect it, you'd have thousands of times more gold than all the gold mines on the planet. So the waters of the oceans is literally a form of Oramus with all these trace elements and minerals that have washed down all the ancient waterways and mountains over billions of years. Well, no, they think, oh, you're just talking in circles. I don't understand you, Dr. Deagle. I said, well, that's the problem. The problem is you're not going to hear this from your pastor. You're not going to hear about the battle between good and evil. You're not going to hear about the suppressed energy technology or the fact that ancient mankind fell literally from grace from the creator of the universe, that we fell into a galactic and cosmic war that destroyed most of civilization, and then we crawled out of the muck and are building ourselves back up again, and of course the same monsters are active channeling information to destroy us again.
To lead us down a path. They absolutely have an agenda for us, an agenda for themselves, and they are guiding us into a warfare. They're trying to heighten the excitement between Muslims and Christians. They're trying to get the Zionists and Islam to fight, and we're going to see a lot of that as they start to move. But we got to realize where the Earth is going at the same time. As we're talking about these ancient religions, at the same time, we've now come up with a synapse on a chip. So what they're calling a memristor, which is a new portion onto a chip, which now allows it to have the ability to be very uncannily close to human mind synapse connections.
Actually create these biochips, which are neurons growing on electronic chips. And they can create neural arrays. They can actually incorporate them inside machines now. So they've got, literally, in a sense, neural array or quantum neural programming that can literally drive these machines now. The average person in our society, even a tenured professor, doesn't have the faintest idea that this is the nature of the universe or the nature of what they are themselves. And I tell people the two things that you must have to find a solution to all of the issues in our world is, number one, to know what you are and know the nature of your universe. And that means the nature of your creator and the fact that we are in a galactic and cosmic battle in every sphere. Good and evil, light and darkness, technology, biology, information, the very nature of what reality is. And people don't grasp this. They really think that it's, they've got some infantile idea of what good and evil is. Good is hearing and doing the will of the Creator God, the source of all that is, and evil is anything other than that. And they just don't grasp this. That's why all the religionists that don't have any spirituality are causing confusion or being used as a form of mind control to destroy the planet, which is why they set up the Islamists against the Catholics and the Christians and the atheists and the Pleiadian contactees and the people that think they're Cylons or they're Jedi Knights, and they're all at each other's throats in one way or another, not understanding the nature of what they are and the nature of their universe.
Anubis floating down the river as it is in New York Harbor, just as it did in the Thames back in 2007, is a sign of bringing America into the underworld.
Well, what they're doing now, they've installed a pharaoh, a pharaonic order, like Akhenaten. I call him Barakhenaten. I love your term, because we both came to the same kind of conclusion in a similar time, which means there's there's a convergence that I call the 100-monkey theory. The consciousness which is infused into us is spreading throughout the body of mankind like connected neurons.
America is supposed to come down, and that's why we're seeing all the symbolic gestures of Barack Obama with his name, lightning from heaven and such. So we're being engineered to be that satanic force through Lady Gaga and other satanic forces being programmed into it.
And most of the launches of the shuttle over the past 30 years are all military. They're not public. They're not available for the people to tune into their TV station on NBC and watch the latest of what's going on with the space shuttle. The fact is, they wanted to kill it with the things like the Columbia explosion. They wanted to, finally shut it down under Obama, under austerity, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. So this launch of this mini shuttle, this robotic shuttle, is just another extension of the military operations and the mining and everything else they've been going on, and just say, that's it, we're just going to go private, and there's going to be a hiatus of 3 or 4 years. And then if you want to go into near space, you can pay millions of dollars and get shot in the top of a rocket and go in near space and look down in the earth and say, that's cool, and you've blown a few $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all massaging the public to keep us stupid. And the people think, oh, well, Dr. Deagle, you're making this all up. No, we're not. We're not. And the problem is, it is connected with, why are we allowing pollution and electro pollution? I just talked to one of my friends earlier in Canada where they've set up these Wi-Fi networks in school. They've done maze experiments on rats. You put Wi-Fi, and the rats can't lay down a memory trace. Their blood-brain barrier breaks down. They get agitated and get autism and attentional disorders. It disrupts their genetics and makes them sterile. It has terrible effects on their mitochondria. Mitochondria are 30 times more likely to be destroyed by scalar and toxic pollutants. And they know this. They're fully aware of this. They don't want you to know it. They want people like me to either be silenced, or they want us to make it seem like we're crazy because we raise these issues, but they don't want you to know the fact their agenda ultimately is to destroy mankind. People say, that's not possible. They're just greedy. No, they're not just greedy. These are demonic entities that are not human, and they want to destroy mankind. And it's written in your Bible. People say, oh, well, I believe the Bible. I said, really? Well, you read it with a mind, with an intellect. Don't read it like a brainless moron. Read it with an intellect and realize God didn't insult you when he put it there. It unfortunately was written down by people who themselves didn't understand it fully, but we are like the time of Daniel. We do understand these things, and it's the time of the end. Not the end of the world, but the end of the aeon. So people like Freeman and myself are here to teach you that these things in the Bible are true. Let's say every breath, every heartbeat must be a prayer. Don't say, how do you pray? How about, how do you connect and stay connected? How do you continue to be in a spiritual relationship? How do you understand the vast and wonderful and horrifying nature of our universe, and know that we are not to be victims, but understanding the truth, and the truth will set you free. Freeman, closing comments.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Amazing. And again, the ripples of consciousness will spread out. Go to freemantv.com and you'll be surprised, amazed, boggled, but you'll never be the same. We'll have to